Sam was trying to tell me how to say Pastor Maine.
Through Maine.
Through Maine. Through Maine? We started out with chow mein. Through Maine. So you ready to eat?
Yeah.
Did you eat yet?
Yeah.
This was the room we had the reception when Nate and Dara got married. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Very prosperous room. I liked it a lot. Was that a good day?
Yeah.
It was a good day. Okay, well, I'm going to get to business. Right. I haven't done this in a long time. So I thought I mentioned another thing that took me a long time. And Sam gave TT 3 days to get ready. Tralmaine gave me 3 months. Thank you. So another thing that took a long time to accomplish, this is my pilot's license.
Congratulations.
50 years it took me to get this.
Yeah.
So any young people, get started. Old people, don't bother. Takes a long time. Okay, so I want to look at the slides together, and just this one. And the artwork is Joel's, Jojo. He started out with the 3 circles, and we made the drawings in there. I want to start at the first story, trying to look there, look here, and talk here. Let's see how that goes. One more thing about Cody and Corey. Someday I'm going to say I knew them when they were good. 2 stories, 1 parable, 1 story. You know the difference between a parable and a story. The parable Jesus made up because he wanted to, and the story comes from a person that Jesus made, and she made the story because she wanted to. Is it fun or not? Okay? And then we'll look at the story you make because he made you and you wanted to. So we get a real neat part to play while we're here after he made us. So let's start with Luke 16. We'll read through it kind of quickly. It's a parable, and I just love the stories, parables that Jesus tells, and the stories, because he likes to tell us weird stories. He likes to tell us hard things. He says things that when I go to the Gospels and read, I think like, man, God, I don't even get half of this, much less live part of it. If I could live 1 sentence in there, I think it'd be a nice day. Is this loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at the guy in Luke 16. Jesus told his disciples, there was a rich man whose manager was accused of wasting his possessions. So he called him in and asked him, what is this I hear about you? Give an account for your management, because you cannot be manager any longer. The manager said to himself, what shall I do now? My master is taking away my job. Yeah, he's taken it away all right. He earned that. He's taken away my job. I'm not strong enough to dig. This guy's a thinker. And I'm ashamed to beg. I'm ashamed to beg. I know what, then it comes to him, right? I know what I'll do. So that when I lose my job here, people will welcome me into their houses. So he called in each one of his master's debtors. He asked the first, how much do you owe my master? 800 gallons of olive oil, he replied. The manager told him, take your bill, sit down quickly, and make it 400. Just get on it, right? You can imagine the next guy's in line like, looks like I came to pay on the right day. Then he asked the second, how much do you owe? 1,000 bushels of wheat, he replied. He told them, take your bill and make it 800. notice the difference. One guy gets half his bill taken off, the other guy, still good. He told him, take your bill and make it 800. The master commended, get this, okay? Here's where it gets a bit more funny. It says, the master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly. For the people of this, and this is Jesus telling them, he's wrapping it up for once. He says, for the people of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own kind than are the people of the light. I read this quite a few years before it started to sink in, like, because it seems like, what kind of story is this, Jesus? You're talking to me about this guy that, oh, he steals from his boss. Look how good a job he's doing. You know, it's hard to get your head around. A lot of things that Jesus comes up with are hard to say. They kind of jar you at first. And they jar you at second and third and fourth, and they keep jarring you until one day it's like, oh, this makes some sense. You notice that. Okay, so what's he say? Beyond that, for the people of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own kind than are the people of light. I tell you, listen to this. I tell you, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. I was always thinking maybe I should be nice to people, help them and such, because I'm supposed to. But here it says, be nice to somebody because you're planning ahead, you're buying friends, paving the way, That way I'll have lots of friends in the end and things will be covered for me. So in all that Jesus is telling this story about, he's not only telling me to steal from my master and then go buy friends with it. And not only that, he's saying that, wow, people in this earth can make friends. You know that, right? My brother went to get his license to drive bus, which was not a good idea, a school bus. And then he said, I said, well, how'd it go? He said, well, I dropped $100 on the ground, and the inspector told me, hey, you dropped $100. And my brother says, yeah, don't we both know it? Get it? So he's bribing. You guys know about that, don't you? All right, you've heard of that? So in a sense, the same kind of operation's going here. He's being shrewd. And even the word shrewd, and Jesus commending somebody for being shrewd, the word shrewd doesn't sound right, does it? I mean, in English it doesn't. It sounds like you're up to something you shouldn't be. So we moved once to Colorado, and we bought a little bulldozer, and we called it our unrighteous mammon. In King James, I think it's called filthy lucre. So what Jesus says is, take your worldly possessions and make friends. So we went around plowing people's driveways, sometimes dirt, sometimes snow, because we wanted to make friends forever. Okay? And there'll be more on that later, but those are the kind of friends I like to have. If I like them, If I don't like them, you don't want them forever. That's just true. It's shrewd, right? And so now we want to take that story. So if we look at that story, can you see him on the slide?
Yeah.
He's an airplane pilot in this case. Joel picked it. No, I guess I did. And Joel drew that airline pilot. We called him Stu for Steward. And this is the Luke 16 story down on your left, correct? And so we got a bit of a circle going there to see where the overlap with him and the next story goes. But notice he made friends. That's his picture. You see the picture of his friends? This is weird seeing out the back of my head, but I'm getting it right, ain't I? Okay, so he made friends so that he would have earthly friends, and so that he'd be welcomed into their what? Into their homes, into their houses. Probably homes, because he really did want friends. And, okay? And then that arrow goes up, and will end later on where his friends end up. So this is all commendable ways to act. if you're just a plain heathen, and this is the way it's going, because this is the world you operate in because you are not born again yet. And that's all you can work with. So don't be surprised if a heathen guy's acting like a heathen, you know? That's all he knows. That's all I knew before. And I didn't even invite friends. Did I? Okay? But all my efforts, good or bad, however you want to measure it, they were only going to get me so far. They would work in this world. But as Mike was saying earlier, what about the after retirement plan? You know, these days they say, oh, he passed, but really he died, right? I mean, that's how you say it. But we say, oh, so-and-so passed. No, we used to say it differently. So just to say, in the end, that's it. So he's making a very good investment while he's here. Jesus is commending him. You took what you had, and you did a good job with it, buddy, even though he's a make-believe person. And so good. And they can be really good things, too. Not just stealing from your master. They can be doing a good job at McDonald's, doing a real good job at whatever you do. And but again, they don't work for where you're going. Let's look at someone else. Queen of Sheba. You ever hear of her? Remember, Jesus said, wow, you guys, I've shown you all kinds of miracles. I fed 5,000 of you with a couple of fish, and I've done all these things in front of you, and all you got to say is, we don't think this is the Christ. If he was the Christ, he wouldn't have come from Nazareth. Well, look it up, you know. If you really care that he is the Christ, you make the effort and look it up and says, okay, so he was born in Bethlehem, and then he went there, and there. Because you're either going to blow it off and say, well, he didn't come from Nazareth. Or you're going to look on and say, who else could he be but the Christ? And I'll confirm it by looking, checking, hey, where were you born after all? And then you could follow all the scriptures and say, yeah, I was born in Bethlehem. My dad decided to move to Egypt for a while, then we came back, settled in. Then you'd follow the story and say, wow, that story's matching up. And so that's what he's telling the people that he's been witnessing to, and he must have been a good witness. And he's saying, wow, when the Queen of Sheba shows up again, she's going to be judging you because she made an effort and you didn't. So that's our effort in the whole business. Okay? Queen of Sheba, you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Okay, so where were we? First Kings 10 will work. Does that clock move? Okay, that clock works?
Yeah.
Okay. First Kings is right before Second Kings, and 9 is right before 10. So it's 1 Kings 10. We'll look at the Queen of Sheba. Ready for it? What kind of picture do you have in your mind of a Queen of Sheba? To me, she's got gold on, you know, black hair, riding on one of those things they carry around and the music's going, and she's going all the way across the country. She's taking a ride somewhere. You remember where she's taking a ride to? I'm going to see the king. Isn't there a song like that? I'm going to see the king. She's going to see the king, and she went a long ways to do this. And no air-conditioned car, but ready? 10. When the Queen of Sheba heard about the fame of Solomon and his relation to the name of the Lord, she came to test him with hard questions. We'll go over this some more. She came to test him with hard questions. That's what she came for. I heard this guy knows something. I'm not going to remain ignorant. I want to know something. I'm going to where he is. If it takes me to go across the desert, if it takes me all these things, I'm going to go see him. He's got something what? He's got something I want. Is that different than saying, oh, they say he's from Nazareth. The Christ is coming from Bethlehem. Forget it. He speaks with great authority. Yeah, but he doesn't come from the right town. Can't be him. You're not trying. Okay? Sheba's trying. The steward was trying. That's why Jesus commended him. This is why he's commending her, because she heard and she's coming a long ways, and she is going to find out. Okay, with the heart, easy questions, oh, how's the weather? Well, it's been pretty good. No, she's got some questions. And the coolest part is, he doesn't tell us what any of the questions are. Nothing. I want an example so I can ask the right question. And I'm thinking, Jesus says, yeah, you'll ask all the right questions, and then you'll make a doctrine out of it, you'll make rules out of it, and we'll miss the whole point. I'm telling you nothing. I'm not telling you anything. Right? Remember the other one? I'm not telling him nothing. No. Time for a little interlude. We live up in the hills, and the people in the hills, it's a code, you know, if you talk incorrectly, like, I didn't say nothing. When he didn't mean, I didn't say anything. So we're in a little grocery store up there, and there's a guy in there, and the cashier says to him, you were saying such and such. He says, I didn't say nothing. And you know what that means? I said something. Yeah. So I said to him, I says, no. You know, he's this guy that looks dangerous, but looks aren't everything, are they? I said, no, you mean you didn't say anything. That's what you really want to say. And he says, no, I didn't say nothing. And I looked at the cashier and I says, you can't teach these guys nothing. Anyway, had to be there? Yeah. Okay. I thought it was really good to come out in the car telling Carl Ann about my accomplishments. And she said, one of these days, you're going to get beat up. But, you know, I had fun trying. You know, still had fun. What's a little beating now and then? You want to go through life safe or take a beating? So more to the Queen of Sheba. Where were we? Arriving at Jerusalem with a very great caravan. Those are the resources she had. With camels carrying spices, large quantities of gold, and precious stones. She came to Solomon and talked with him. She came to Solomon and talked with him. She came to Solomon and talked with him about all that she had on her mind. Jesus is commending her for this. She knows she has a need and she's going for it. And she says, I don't want to be ignorant. I want to know what he's about. Like in the New Testament, they said, you know, this guy really talks with authority. And she goes and what she heard about Solomon said, there's authority here and I'm finding out. It's the same thing when you read your Bible. It's like, there's something in here that's true. Everything I read in here is true. I can go get advice other places. There's all kinds of books I can read. And I have to, every time I read a sentence, I got to think it over. Is it valid? Is it true? Not when I read this. This is Solomon here. When I read this, I say, oh, everything I read is true. You say, well, this part doesn't line up with our part. I don't care. That's by my evaluation, it doesn't line up. But everything in it is true, and it's for me. And I'm going after it. If I have to get in a caravan, if I got to bring spices, God's given us opportunity to sit with King Solomon, but better than Solomon. Anytime you want to. I don't have to go anywhere to do it. Jesus, thank you. He's talked to you before hesitate. He's talked to you when you're in here. He's talked to you when you just ask him outside of your Bible. When you pursue him, he talks to you. Solomon did not turn her away. He answered, says, all his questions. And none of his questions were too difficult for Solomon. And someone greater than Solomon now lives in us. Someone greater than Solomon we can talk to any day without crossing a desert, without bringing spices, without torturing camels, all that stuff. And he's right here all the time. So Jesus is saying, she did a good job. Sheba did a good job. I bet he liked her name. And to roll off the tongue, I bet her husband liked her. You think? Yeah. Yeah. Because she didn't want to be ignorant. She was a listener. Okay, with camels carrying very great caravan, with camels carrying spices, large quantities of gold and precious stones. She came to Solomon and talked with him. I guess we did that before. Look, she's bringing Solomon all the stuff he has already.
Yeah.
And if that's not enough, when he sends her home, he sends her with stuff yet more. Says, isn't this like talking to God? You come to him and say, I worship you, I'll give you my car, my truck, my bulldozer, my airplane license, you can have it all. He says, I got it all already, but that's good, Kev. You're doing a good job. All right, so Solomon and talked with him. Remember the hymn, and he talks with me, and he walks with me? Solomon answered, she talked to him about all that she had on her mind. Does he tell her what was on her mind? No, not one word. Because, I don't know, maybe he thinks we'd just try to copy it. Oh, she asked him these questions, I'll ask the same one. You've got some questions of your own. Look around, look at each other, and look at how much of us, how different we are from each other. So how would God think we'd have the same questions for him? Oh yeah, I answered that one. God would be there sleeping on his throne. But he says, no, this is my Serena, and she's come to talk with me about all what's on her mind. Yeah. And this is Dini, Titi, Tata, I'm learning them all. So he says, what's on your mind? Very personal. And you have a lot on your mind, don't you? And you ask him, Jesus, I know, that's great for queens and stuff, but my car's a piece of junk and I don't think I'm getting to work today. My shoes aren't fitting right. That guy's ticking me off. I'm running out of money. I got too much money. My airplane's too good. My bulldozer I turned into a slave to. All these personal things. Solomon answered all her questions. Nothing was too hard. As we heard that in the Bible, nothing's too difficult for God. It's kind of weird because someone says, well, God can't be surprised. It's not too hard for him. If he wants to be surprised, he can be surprised. So we're talking about that in one place, and then there was one woman who said, I don't know, Kevin. She says, I don't think God can be surprised. And my other son, Dan, says, he says, what if Randy gets married? She says, okay, you got me. God can be surprised. And there's more to the story than that, of course. All right, so for the king nothing was hard for the king to explain to her. When the queen of Sheba saw all the wisdom of Solomon, now get this weird stuff, okay? This is when he starts giving us almost particulars. When Sheba saw all the wisdom of Solomon and The palace, okay, that he built, that's impressive, Solomon. The food on his table, well, you know, that's pretty good. And the seating of his officials. The attending servants in their robes. She goes all these miles there and comes back, talks to the king, said, what'd you say? You should have seen what her servants were wearing. It was the neatest blue, it has some red trim on it. It's like, what did they talk about? What did she see in this? And I think what she saw in it was, whatever he did a good job. I don't care what aspect of Solomon was, he did it good. And that was impressive to me. And so it is with us. You think, well, I didn't do anything great. I don't do much. You know, but what I did it well. Not good. I did it well. And that matters. I think that matters so much to God. It's like, Kev, what you up to today? I'm trying to do something well. Would you help me? Can we do this together? God, can we do this together? I love your help. I did some carpentry work. I had help. I can't drive a nail. I always get impatient when I'd use the saw and I'd break it off before I get to the end. That's good enough. But with his help, we did something. Asking the question. And we're set for time, Mike. I mean, okay.
Yep.
So she's pretty impressed with their, the clothes the guys are wearing, and his cupbearers, and burnt offerings. And she saw all these things like, wow, I went and I saw your table. I saw your silverware. I saw the way it was lined up. And in one translation it says, and there was no more spirit in her. She's overwhelmed. Gasp, like this is too much. It's like the first time I saw my wife, it's like, turn from me. I cannot bear it. And it's like the last time I saw my wife, turn from me. I cannot bear it. See what he puts in front of us? Wow. Oh, I think that's a hint. I can see the slide. The slide's early from my notes anyway. So while the steward did a good job with his dishonest money and his dishonest gain, but he did it well. That's an extreme. Another extreme is the Queen of Sheba. She was able to bring all these camels, all her people with her, camels, spices, and some people even brought apes and baboons to this guy. I thought that was fun. But what do you have? And so that's, you can see clearly on the slide the picture of a hand. It's what's in your hand. What do you get to bring him? Here, I'll give you this, God. What do you want to do with this? What do you want? I think it's not only what you, if what you have is use what you have. For now, he says training in righteousness is good for now and for the life to come. It's an investment for later. Just like the steward did, an investment for later. Like Sheba did, it's for later, but it's for now too. And the old joke that you can't take a U-Haul to heaven and all that, you can. You heard it here first. You probably won't want to. Okay, so the slides about Sheba took what she had, the steward took what he had. The steward's business, you can see the arrow with the green ends on it. Don't pay attention to the color, it's all I could get. And he made very good friends, but without Jesus, they are all going to go into one place in the end, to an irretrievable fire. So, wow. It worked out very good. It was working for good. He is a good man. He had a good life. She's a good woman. Had a good life. Helped lots of people. But that's as far as it goes. And Sam told me you're all on the yellow arrow. So, I mean, through Maine, told me you're all on the yellow arrow. So, and that would be, like Sheba, all her investments are for the after retirement plan. They're for now, they're for retirement, they're for the after retirement plan, and they all, through Jesus, goes to heaven. And then he says, work for food that always lasts. And this disciple says, what do I have to do to do the works of God? He says, believe in the one that sent me. That's all your work. Not a list, anything else. And he says, whatever you do, do it with all your heart, as if to God and not to man. Fun, 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 fun. Is it always fun all the time? Of course not. All right? It would be hard to go to church when you know how it is when you got to work the kids over and stuff on the way to church, and maybe things weren't as smooth as you'd like, maybe you're not even close to that. And then you get to church and you're singing, here's your kid standing beside you or behind you, and you're singing, and now I am happy all the time. And it's like, maybe. Anyway, all of that stuff, heavenward. And so when we talk about heaven and the great banquet, I always thought about food. I'm thinking about it now. It's May 3rd, and cake. Did you eat yet? So now I think about it differently. I bought friends in heaven. I've used a lot of my time to buy friends. Sounds like you shouldn't do it, but I do. So I've made lots of investments, and when I get to heaven, what did Jesus said he was? He's work for food that lasts. He says, he's the food. We're each other is the food that lasts. All of us will see there together. Wow. And so the picture on the far, whatever it is, right? That's all the people in heaven. The house is the mansion that he's making for us. I don't know what mansions look like there, but all those people, all that food, I think it'd be so fun seeing the people. The food's really not going to matter. We're done, right? Good?
Good.
Just cover a couple of points up there. I always wanted to go to the picture. I can't go to the picture and talk at the same time. Maybe more like Mick Jagger. McCartney. I don't know. Taylor Swift. She has a mic, right? I don't know. Mike would know. Anyway, just spend a couple of seconds on JoJo's drawing. Do you see the turkey leg?
Turkey.
Okay. Ice cream cone. Ice cream cone. Turkey legs and ice cream cones. And if we had more time, they would have had colors. We're going to eat here real shortly. You know, you go to college and they tell you, food is for nutrition. It has vitamins and minerals, and it's for nutrition. It's like, yeah, but I want to ask you, why does it taste so good? Why is it better when I eat it with someone else? Why is it really, really good when someone else buys it and I eat it? Get it? It didn't have to be this way. It's more than nutrition, isn't it? So thanks for coming today, and I'm told you're all in the top pile, so that's good. But you have friends in the bottom pile. And so could the steward's works actually work for his good in the long run? Yeah, God can make anything to the good, right? Thanks a lot for coming. Hail Jesus, he's our King. I learned this at the Lutheran church. Hail Jesus, he's our King. Your love makes my heart to sing. No, help me with it. Hail Jesus, you're my King. You make my heart to sing. Hail Jesus, you're my King. You make BB. What's that? BB King to sing. You don't repeat after me. That's not a good idea. You know, he made us all. He gave us a voice to sing with. He gave us each an individual voice. And you would not believe how different each one of you looks to me right now. But every one of you is human. That's easy, huh? But this is time to stop, Kev. Okay. Very truly, I tell you what?
Whoever hears my word and believes
as eternal life, and will be judged, but not crossed over from death to life.
Yeah. Crossed over from death to life. You had a life, you died, and now you got a life. So, Nicodemus, okay, bye-bye.